Buhari, the service chiefs are on parade, other senior military officers as well are also on parade. So at this moment, we are waiting for the ambulance to make its way into the house. We can see governors arrive, Babagana Zulum of Borno State. We can see senators also arrive who are just coming back from the helipad where they went to pray for the repose of the soul of the president according to Islamic rites. So these are live pictures. A couple of them are now making their way into the garden designated to the garden where his body will be committed to the earth. Sympathizers are trooping in to his house, hoping to catch a glimpse of what will be the last for them of maybe the body of the former president. The press have been restricted to this area to ensure there is law and order. The ambulance is now making its way into the house of the former president. It will be led President Bola Tinubu will be leading the delegation of uh, mourners who will be coming in to also witness the interment of the body of the former president. We can see the governor. We can see the governor of Katsina State making his way in. We can also see the Speaker of the Federal House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, who is also trying to catch a glimpse of what is happening here. Security is very tight, and the military personnel are right here to ensure that there is no breakdown of law and order. We can see the former Vice President, Yemi Oshibanjo, making his way into that arena. Military personnel have been asked to send out anyone who is trying to be unruly. That's to give you a sense of how tight the security is. Now, we can see President Tinubu approaching this arena. He's in the black SUV over there, and his security details are trying to ensure that the road is clear for the president. You can see them trying to ensure that the space is cleared. So at this moment, we can confirm to our viewers that the president you can hear the announcement that only His Excellency the President. Now, the President is now moving into the graveyard where the President, the former President, Muhammadu Buhari, will be interred. That is going to take place here.
We are moments away from the interment of former President Muhammadu Buhari, who died on Sunday at the age of 82. President Bola Tinubu led mourners to his graveside where the ceremony is taking place. TVC News is live at the graveside and we'll be bringing you live pictures just like we have on screen now from the location. We can see that President Bola Tinubu is seated in pictures we showed a while ago. President Tinubu is seated there, and beside him, his Vice President Kashim Shettima, who was dispatched to London to commiserate with the family and bring the body of former President Muhammadu Buhari back home. We also have the former Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, who served alongside former President Muhammadu Buhari in his capacity as deputy. Governor Hope Uzodimma, alongside other 7 governors, some former governors, are also there. Live pictures there at the graveside. Here are live pictures from the graveside. It's just a matter of moments before the committal process begins. Former Vice President Yemi Osinbajo in conversation with Governor Hope Uzodimma of Imo State. And there we have the Deputy President of the Senate, Daura, who's also there interacting with Governor Hope Uzodimma. Beside him, there we see the Chief of Staff to President Bola Tinubu, Femi Gbadabiamila. We'll see the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu. That looks like the Minister of Information, Muhammad Idris. They're all gathered to bid former President Muhammadu Buhari farewell. He would be committed to Mother Earth any moment now. Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbadabiamila, in conversation with both the President and Vice President, perhaps trying to get clarification on some matters before the committal process would begin. Speaker of the House of Representatives is sitting on the left of the President there, is Abbas Tajuddin, all seated, waiting patiently. And behind the President standing there is son of the President, Tinubu. The Governor of Kano State, Abba Yusuf, is also in attendance. It's good to see that even in death, Muhammadu Buhari is a unifying force, bringing together people from different political divides, people from different faith, gathering in solemn reverence for the man who has had the opportunity to lead Nigeria in different capacities. First as military president, and then later as democratically elected president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Live pictures from Daura in Katsina State, where former President Muhammadu Buhari would be interred any moment now. TVC News is live at the graveside, bringing you pictures, moment by moment, of events taking place there. Pictures there of President Bola Tinubu, who is leading the nation in mourning the man, Muhammadu Buhari, his predecessor as President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. All is set. You can see a close-up picture there of the grave. Remember, former President Muhammadu Buhari was a Muslim, and he's being buried today in line with Islamic rites. He died on Sunday at a London clinic at the age of 82. After which President Bola Tinubu ordered his Vice President, Kashim Shettima, to lead the federal government delegation to both commiserate with his family in London and to accompany the body back home to Nigeria. Security is watertight in and around the residence of the former President Muhammadu Buhari, as military personnel alongside sister security agencies work together to ensure a smooth process for this state funeral of former President Muhammadu Buhari. Any moment now, his body would be committed to Mother Earth. TVC News is live at the Daura residence of the former president to bring you live coverage of the committal process, which begins any moment now. Just before now, prayers were offered for the repose of the soul of the former president, Muhammadu Buhari. Before that, we saw family members gathered around the ambulance conveying his body to both pray and pay their last respects. It was an 88-kilometer journey from the Umaru Musa Yar'Adua International Airport, where the Nigerian Air Force aircraft conveying his body touched down at about 2 p.m. West African time. President Bola Tinubu personally received the body, and then the onward journey began to Daura in Katsina State, where his body would be interred.
The simplicity of this whole process is what will rekindle the thought of the vanity of life in itself. For a man who was the military head of state of a large country like Nigeria, controlled several things, resources, natural and human, and then later came back to be a democratically elected president for 8 years with so much power. At a time like this, all he has is a very small portion of land and a very, without any fanfare, without any decoration, without anything that would seem, to suggest that this was a man of affluence. So those of us that are still living will be left with the thought that after all we are running around for, after all we are laboring ourselves about, when a time like this comes, this is all we get and nothing more. President taking a stand, taking a place around the graveside waiting for that moment that everyone had been waiting for, when the body of former President Muhammadu Buhari will be committed to Mother Earth.
And we also see the son of the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, in these live pictures. Dignitaries gathered around the grave to pay their last respect. Any moment from now, the body of the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, will be laid to rest. This is the final stage of paying respect to the former president. Muhammadu Buhari has been described by President Bola Tinubu as a patriot, a soldier, and a statesman who served Nigeria with unwavering dedication. Live on your screen is the son of the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, and a conversation with President Bola Tinubu. Muhammadu Buhari has been described as a statesman, a former statesman in Nigeria, soldier with unwavering dedication to Nigeria. And that's the son of former President Muhammadu Buhari discussing with President Bola Tinubu. Any moment from now, we'll see the former president being committed to Mother Earth.
One of the good things today is that the temperature in Katsina is not as hot as it used to be. While the temperature in Lagos is about 28 degrees centigrade, that of Katsina today is about 32. But this is a place that could get up to 38 degrees. So the temperature is not as harsh as it used to ordinarily be. So it's a bit more friendly for a lot of people that came in from different parts of the country into the place for the funeral. And that's a bit more comfortable for them to, participate in this process. Some pictures we saw a while ago still suggest that the road is still blocked with several people, thousands of people and vehicles, still lining up on the road. It's something that we cannot imagine how it's going to end, because this suggests, the possibility of many people driving out of the town back to Katsina or wherever they came from is very high, and we hope that everything works out well and people return to wherever they're coming from safely. We're still waiting for that particular moment when the body of the former president will be brought in here, and then the final stage of the ritual take place before the body is lowered into the ground, sealing that journey that began on Sunday evening. To this point, we are all waiting, patiently waiting. The world is waiting. Nigerians are waiting. People of Katsina are waiting. And we are here waiting and monitoring for you.
Indeed, TVC News is live at the graveside there, bringing you live pictures of moment by moment activities as the world watches to see the committal of former President Muhammadu Buhari to Mother Earth. That should happen any moment now. In pictures there, it does appear security operatives are trying to make the place orderly, trying to determine who stays where to ensure that everything goes smoothly. And Lupe Asoma, reporter, mentioned earlier that there is already a directive that whoever behaves unruly should be sent out of that space.
Military personnel are seen marching into the arena now. That suggests that we are very close to the moment we've been waiting for. We see some military personnel. They are followed closely by, they are rolling in the body of the former president, now covered in national flag. We know already that this body will be carried by senior military officers at the rank of Major General. Our correspondent Lupa Som had told us earlier that getting access into this environment was a very daunting task, and that limits the number of cameramen you can have in that space. It will be expected that TVC News will be the source for signal for most TV stations covering this burial. I'm not too sure about that, but I suspect because of the limitations earlier announced of people being able to access, gain access into that place. So TVC News right now might be this provider of the signal, and that would be a good thing for us to share with our colleagues. We are out of that place now. They will be caught.
Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria from 1983 to 1985, before he retired from service in September 1985. He was democratically elected as the Commission President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria from 21st September 2015. I'm streaming. His demise was confirmed. Late President Buhari attended several courses while he performed credibly. Some of the courses include the officers course, platoon commanders course, mechanical transport officers course, commander staff course related to PM, and Army War College course. During his young officers course, he worked very hard to he demonstrated commendable stamina during practical exercises and in advanced conditions. During his commander staff course in India, he was a sincere hard-working officer who was pleased to learn. He demonstrated the ability to comprehend the implications of most situations and apply tactics to arrive at generally reasonable solutions. He was a friendly and cooperative individual who was impressed with his team. He accepted criticism willingly and expressed his views in acts. During his Army War College course, he was a well-read and articulate professional who demonstrated a vast range of knowledge on specifically related issues. He could read through the various issues to identify the source of the
Immediately after the
it's not even good for the police.
This is TVC News, a live coverage of the state funeral for former President Muhammadu Buhari. Citation of the former president is being read by the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, at the graveside there at his residence in Daura. Any moment now, his body will be committed to Mother Earth.
Of former President Muhammadu Buhari being read by the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher. You know, former President Muhammadu Buhari served this country in various capacities, and that's why you're seeing, you know, the time it is taking for his citation to be read. He joined the military at a very young age. We hear at the age of 19 or thereabout. You know, rose through the ranks to become, you know, a senior and ranking officer before he eventually worked with other officers in that coup in 1983, where they ousted the civilian administration of Alhaji Shehu Shagari. But, you know, he also came back in another capacity before he again re-emerged as a Democrat, reinvented himself as a Democrat, contested election 3 times, Ayo. But, you know, let's talk about, he contested election 3 times, and on these 3 occasions, he also went to court. Doesn't that speak to his belief in Nigeria's justice system?
Yes, as a matter of fact, the first one, 2003, it climaxed at the Supreme Court, and he followed through. But by that time, we've not perfected our electoral act, so the thing spanned for almost 2.5 years before they could get justice. And it's on record all through that time. He wasn't attending the Council of State meeting. That's our principle. The man, you know, he wasn't attending the Council of State meeting. Once he's in court, he has his highest fix on the court, and he appears in court cases all through. That time, I remember Chief Umeozeoke, one of his lawyers, saying that, look, the man believes in the system, that it's a born-again Democrat. He was described as a born-again Democrat. So in 2007, he followed through the same thing, the same pattern, but a lot of Nigerians will say that he was not appealing to the entire country. You know, his candidacy was not appealing to the entire country, that you have to have the spread, as stated in the Constitution, that 24 out of 26.
Committal process begins now for former President Muhammadu Buhari. The national flag has been folded and will be handed over to a member of the Buhari family. Right, so this is tradition. This flag is a symbol of Nigeria. It's a national flag, and now being folded in a particular manner according to tradition, and in honor of the man, Muhammadu Buhari, who has served as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, first as military president, and later as democratically elected president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So once the process is concluded now, that flag,
the body to be committed to Mother Earth, And watching this process, of course, is the president and the vice president. We see them seated. We're waiting for this process to end. So the body.
Yeah, the moment now, the flag is being handed over.
It's been handed over to a member of the family. And a salute to the same member by the military force. Okay. This is symbolic, showing respect for the former president. We see the vice president, Kashim Shettima, approaching the body, the graveside, as the national flag has been handed over. We also see the national flag being removed from the body of the former president, Muhammadu Buhari. I would expect that next is committing the body to Mother Earth.
Indeed, any moment now, the body of former President Muhammadu Buhari would be interred. We see some of the dignitaries standing there around the body. It's quite a busy scene there, but our cameraman is doing his best to give us a shot as close as possible of the process. The body being lowered there.
We hear prayers being made.
Distinguished members of the National Assembly, members of the Federal Executive Council, and the Prime Minister of the Niger Republic is also here. And we are finally listening to the hearing of His Excellency, the Vice President, Muhammadu Buhari. We have members of the Excellencies, the governors, persons of the industry, local streams and other head of state geographies, chairman and chief executive officers of buildings, agencies and caretakers, former governors of Sofia, Governor Aminata Lamasani, and Barista Ibrahim Shema, the Deputy Governor and Excellency Kalaba Ogoni, is also here, and now the final process of the building will be taking place. The former Minister of Communication, Ashok Ibrahim Al-Mutantani, is also here. His Excellency, the Minister of Budget and Planning, the Minister of Public and Economic Planning, the Honorable Minister of Housing, and Urban Development,
Okay, guys. yawan surutu a makabarta. Jama'a ai hakuri.
Preparation for the firing of the bullet by the firing party. Please pray the audience in preparation for the firing of the bullet.
akwai magana akwai harkar da za a yi muna gudun kamso na ainihin harsashi kada ya fada ma wani wanda ke tsakiya don a koma gefe dana sa hannu a ba masu shagun hannu don Allah mala saura a koma bayan ba su hannu yawa ba masu shagun wani tun daga abin aikin. Okay, right. What we're about to witness is the firing of the volley for the firing party. The Daura party commander is taking charge.
After the firing of the volley, we shall also witness the rebel.
Media, go behind. Media, behind please. Bro. I'm sure I'm going to do right.
Harbi na bindiga sau uku wanda ake cima 21 gun wanda za a yi. Muna kira ga jama'a da ke wani wuri da Allah koma gefe a sanar da ainihin farin fati. To akwai kwamsara ta harsashi da muke gudun kada ya taɓa jama'a da wannan wanda ke tsakiya su koma. Bayan nan akwai busa ta rubali.
Once again, we pray your indulgence. Please step backwards for the firing of the boom. The firing party should please be on standby.
Police is not strategy.
The firing party should please be on standby while the grove is being covered completely. After the grove is covered, then we shall have the firing of the voting by the firing party.
We have live coverage still coming from Daura, the residence of former President Muhammadu Buhari, where his body has just been committed to Mother Earth. Here in the studio, I have my colleagues Olamide Adeyemi and Nifemi Oguntoye as we continue this special coverage of the state funeral for the former president. Nifemi.
Indeed, Abosede, it's been a day of reflection and national mourning. We saw Mr. President lead the entire nation to show last respect